but like, I think you can still hold the space with your buttons, right? Like you were kind of doing it too, right? Like this, yeah, like this, I like that. But like, there's no need to walk back quite this far, I think, especially because you don't have energy destruction up. You can like just hold, like do that sort of middle distance. You're in the corner, I'm not in the corner, right? And I can adjust my spacing by walking back and forth, and you can only walk towards me, right? The sort of inherent reason that the corner is a bad place to be as far as, like higher risk for these interactions. I think you could have just like sat like sort of where, like with your back, maybe like your back or front foot, depending on like where the Paragon logo is here, you know what I mean? And just like kind of kept him there until you got your cooldown back, right? Is that more risky than this? Sure, yeah, I mean, you have to, because, I mean, this is not risky until you give up the entire screen and you just fully, like, let him sprint at you from full screen here behind Luminaria and he just kills you, right? Or at least he gets back into an advantageous spot. All right, folks, we are back. More Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, more replay review. Fun times. Backlog shrinking. I'm gonna say it every time. I know I said it literally at the start, but like I feel good about it, and I wanna keep repeating it to myself because this, it used to be like 2 months, man, and now it's like 2 weeks. So the power of concerted, consistent effort. But here we are with a Vane VOD review from Aki here, a Paragon run, which is cool. Yeah, Aki, I remember, used to join the intermediate brackets a lot on Jita, but then they picked up Vane, and I think it's just, I don't know, it's their true calling or something. They've gotten, to my understanding, from just like hearing little things about matches they play and win and stuff, they've gotten quite spooky on that Vane, actually. We'll see what I even have to offer here, but what could I have done better? I feel like I did well, but I know for sure I gave up quite a bit of space sometimes in fear of XYZ. Interesting. So I think it's just the one... This is the one match here, possibly? Let's just go on actual YouTube here and watch. Give the full-on thing. A little bit of ads. Some Black Friday sales at Marks. Amazing. Cool. What is this? Oh, it's the other that the ads are still playing. Never escaped them. Hey guys, we should add more replays and increase the backlog. I think I'm not entirely. It might go back up shortly here. Anyway, we'll see. I'm not entirely sure what the plan is for next week yet, but I'll play it by ear. But yeah, so 15:29. Here we go. Aki versus Alpha. Oh, Sprite. Damn, yeah. On the Vera. Well, I mean, that's a tough one starting off here for sure. Alpha, if you don't know, is, yeah, can of Sprite, as you can see right there. Okay, I mean, real quick, as always with any of these replay reviews, before we get started, I mean, one, if you don't want to be like a month and a half behind like you are currently, Mr. VOD Watcher, you probably should come over here and watch the stream and hang out. We'd love to have you here. Two, the main thing, the thing I usually mention, is that, you know, with these replays, usually, great place to start. If you can't discern where your mistakes are happening, usually, you know, when you get hit, when you lose your turn, it's a great place to pause and be like, hey, what happened here? Because if you never get hit and you never lose your turn, you will win by default. And you know, at the very least, you can try to minimize those occurrences, even if you obviously will never get them to zero. As far as aggressor defender, right? Again, it's like who's holding space, who's trying to get space. I mean, this is obviously like Vera is sort of a textbook character with a lot of these more zoner-like characters, which Vane definitely is. Vane, he feels... Vane maybe is a pure zoner? It's hard to say. Like Matera and Fairy are like very clearly in that camp, and then there's a lot of characters in this game that are like somewhere along that spectrum. I'm not quite sure where to place them. Vane's pretty close to that though. Just because he hits hard does not mean he's not a zoner, right? But regardless, he definitely wants to be like keeping Vera away from him and just like slamming her and shit like that. We'll see though. Vane, I think, has a harder... One of the reasons I'm a little bit more skeptical to just like call Vane a pure full zoner is I think Vane has a little bit of a harder time actually fully... Like, Vane does kind of lose to people just running at him a little bit, right? Energy destruction, if you're playing someone who's good enough to spot dodge that, right? They're going to slowly close gaps on you, and the shield, literally the lose condition for the shield is person dashes through it. So I think this might be where normally we always talk about how it's a mix, right? The mix, you might have to do somewhat of a mix of actual proper zoning and space control and stuff like that, and every now and then you might actually have to run in there and scrap with Vera a little too, just because I'm not entirely sure that Vane is capable of like holding someone at bay for like far away from him for an entire match. Maybe I'm wrong, but definitely the defender. But you might have to get a little bit more creative at times here, right? So I mean, run up 6XL sure is interesting. I'm not quite so sure that you want to like frame one, be trying to go in there and kill him, but we'll see. Spot dodge on the 6/6H, interesting. Okay, sure. He tried to check you on the way in there, but you kind of... He was slow on the draw. He might not be expecting the Vane to run at him. That's possible. Ooh, okay. Obviously, I mean, at this point, like, this is one of those little things, right? I mean, little things. It's one of those things that's like, you know, just react is not amazing advice, but when you're fighting Vera and you're fighting her at a high level, yeah, you have to, like, not get hit by those. Especially, this was not, like, particularly, this is not, like, a super, like, well-hidden one, right? I mean, I guess kind of, right? Because the dash, it looks like it, right? Like, you gotta be not letting Vera get that install for free. I say it every time a Vera is on screen, but the gap between install Vera and non-install Vera has gotten just even bigger since the Versusia patch. So, like, at least force her ass to spend... yeah, here's another thing that's fake about Vane, that you get away with a lot at lower ranks, but you're not gonna get away with it fighting a guy like Sprite, really. I mean, you can try it as, like, a throw bait, but you have to probably make him a little bit more afraid of throw first. But real quick, the gap between install Vera and non-install Vera has gotten even bigger, to the point that you really gotta at least force her to spend the 100 meter, right? If she just gets command grab, gets install for free, that's you're off to a bad start. This is a throw bait, right? He's doing this to throw bait, is Aki. But I think, considering just how risky this throw bait is for Vane, right? Like, this thing, if you don't know, like, this spot dodge that Sprite does here, I don't even, like... It's like a fucking Netherrealm number. Like, he's like minus 25 or something. Like, I'm not fucking with you. Like, for real. Vane is like, he's minus... The best one of these, depending on which one it is like minus 15. And then one of them is like minus 25 or something like that. So the spot dodge on this is like you get whatever the hell you want. I think Sprite could have even gone for a close H there. I don't think that was. Maybe I'm thinking of the air versions, and the grounded 214M is less minus on spot dodge. I can't remember. Regardless, they're all very punishable on spot dodge. With that being said, so like if you're gonna, I don't know about, you know, like frame one, like super risky throw bait option like that, right? This is not like an Uno throw bait where you're plus on block or something like that, right? And you kill them if they spot dodge it. So I'd say maybe a little bit more throw conditioning first before you try to go for the throw baits, since your throw bait as Vane is super risky, right? I like you shield in the corner. It's a spooky boy, and he didn't spot dodge. He did the good job using the H1 there too. It is faster, right? They're all reactable, but the H1 is the fastest of them. So if you want to just catch someone off guard and kill them for it, right? The H energy destruction is definitely the way there. Okay, unfortunately, you got shimmied right there. Okay. Preemptive Brave counter. Sending it to hell. What's going on, Effie? Why'd you get hit here? I looked away for a second. Ah, okay, yeah, it's kind of... I mean, they are minus here, right? But it was more so you just didn't fully expect them to stop the auto combo at 2. They are minus. Maybe they're even? I can't remember. Auto combos get... I think they're minus. Auto combos get more minus as it goes on. The third one is definitely always minus. That might have been, like, even or close. I think, yeah, you just, like, delayed a little bit too much. Trying to actually take your turn back there. And you got counter hit for it. Kind of curious to check that, actually. Hold on. Vera. What is Vera's second auto combo hit? What's that looking like? Normal moves, triple attack, triple attack. The second one is, oh, minus 3. Yes, she was minus. But it's what I think this is usually the case, that those second, like, any auto combo hit after the first is minus. They just get more minus as you go on. But you have to be careful to actually, like, you know, poke back when you see them stop. It's sort of like, you know, how, like, Jitos will sometimes do, like, you know, not their whole Rekka and their way, or, like, Abel's doing, like, all the packed follow-ups on, like, 5Us and stuff like that. You have to actually be very vigilant for when they stop doing it and poke back right away. You can fuzzy mash it too, right? I mean, at this level, we can certainly talk about you just, like, fuzzy mashing there. If it starts to be something they do often, where they're like, oh, letting go of... you got hit by this twice. Letting go of the auto combos early. We can talk about this, right? This is sort of... You tried to throw here, actually, which is interesting. I think there's... This is a little bit of a funny setup, right? But I think what you're meant to do here, it's well timed, right? Like this is very close. But what you can do is I believe you just mash here. This is like a really, like, this is really close. But the thing I'm pontificating about is basically there's two outcomes here, right? Either this command grab setup is fake and Luminaria will hit you before Vera gets to you, right? In which case you're going to be in block stun and the command grab is going to whiff and it's fine. Or command grab will hit you before Luminaria gets to you, in which case you need to, like, do something to beat command grab, right? And if you hit Vera, then Luminaria goes away. If she blocks, it goes away. She goes away. He goes away too, right? It goes away. I don't know what Luminaria's pronouns are, but it's fine. In this case, it was very close, right? But I believe you just smash here. You pretty much always just smash there. I'm not sure if there's, like, the reason I'm being a little bit hesitant is I'm not sure if there's, like, some perfect middle timing where, like, if you mash, you get counter hit by Luminaria. even then, with the command grab whiffing, I guess she gets to combo into it, probably. Yeah, I still think, I still think, in general, trying to match there is probably not a bad idea. Your throw was out of range, was the problem. So it just ended up whiffing and you got command grabbed. Worst case, if you're super not confident, right? Vera is fully, like, committed to command grab. You see that, like, you react to that, that's why you threw. So, like, worst case, you can always DP, right? You can, like, and then, even if Luminaria is gonna hit you earlier or something, you'll just hit her out of her command grab regardless. That's not great for Vane, because he doesn't have a meterless one, but it's an idea, right? If you're, like, super unsure in the moment, you can always just default to DPing and hoping for the best. That's going on, right? Sorry, what happened after this? So you get... counter hits. Yeah, preemptive brave. Well, that was not a preemptive brave counter, maybe? Yeah, it's more of just like a delay. Yeah, too late on the brave counter on the close H there. Some unfortunate brave counters happened a couple different times, right? Okay. I like you switching up your techs, right? You teched with the throw button the one time, got shimmied. You teched with a strike that time, or maybe you were just mashing. Like, expecting a gap, hard to say. Luminaria goes through shield. Huh? That's a tough one. Yep. If that was you switching up your techs, that's good. If it wasn't, then you should do that, right? The options to beat delay tech are different. Like, the best options to beat delay tech are different based on whether your opponent is teching with, like, 2L or 5L or something, or whether they're teching with the throw button. You shimmy throws, you delay mash, like you delay close H or something on 5Ls and 2Ls. You can delay close H on throws too, but the timing is a lot tighter, and throws beat strikes if they hit on the same frame. So it can be a little bit wacky and wild. I want to rewatch the beginning of this round again, because I was kind of talking about... Okay. Bonk, 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 sure. Oh, yeah. Usually, I think you're trying to interrupt Scarlet Oath right there, which you can do if it's the M version, but... Just kind of got counter hit by EX. Good spot dodge. Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure Wild Beat is that... I guess before I talk, just because I want to make sure... I don't think Wild Beat is, like... You're doing a lot of block strings that end in Wild Beats, and I'm not, like, so certain that's actually, like, a good thing. It's kind of like a last resort, I guess. Yeah, I mean, the light one's -5, I guess. That's not too bad. But, like, it doesn't push that far away, does the light one, right? So you just kind of, like... Sprite has just been blocking them into immediate... you know, immediate offensive option every time. He's like blocked it into 6XM, blocked it into 6XL, right? Like, yes, that's your safe block string ender. Maybe you have to do some unsafe shit every now and then, right? Like, if you're just always ending your block strings in the same thing, like, Sprite's gotta figure out what exactly it is that he has to do to kill you, right? Like, yes, you know, it's a safe way to end the block string. It's gapless, right? Or, I mean, is it gapless? Maybe it is. I'm not sure if they can DP between the normal and Wild Beat. Depends on the normal, maybe. But the point is, you know, every now and then, like, maybe do normal into, like, you know, nothing into backdash, or do normal into run up 6XL, or do, like, stagger it, or do, like, you know, gap into throw. Or, like, some normal into, I don't know, like a frame trap, or a special cancel, or something, right? That isn't Wild Beats. I think if your block strings just get too predictable, you just kind of end up, like, even when you find 6XLs on sprites, right? You get plus frames, and then you go, like, 5L Wild Beats, and you've done that most of the time. And it just means it ends up... The reason I'm sticking on this is because I was like... I noticed you were, like, ending up in the corner in, like, all of these rounds. And I was like, why? It doesn't seem like you're getting your absolute shit rocked in the neutral. Like, you're fighting him back and forth. Like, you're getting turns, he's getting turns. Why are you always in the corner in these matches? And I think it's because on your turns, you're basically just doing, like, kind of a nothing burger every time, right? Not every time, to be fair. But a lot of the time. You know, you're doing, like, plus frame into normal, into Wild Beat, into lose your turn to Sprite when he, like, 6XLs at you, or 6XMs at you, or otherwise... takes his turn back after you're, like, pretty minus but safe on the Wild Beats. A little bit more variance in what you choose to do mid-screen. Like, you tried the throw bait the one time, for example, and you didn't die for it. But, like, the last two neutral interactions, you lost due to double or triple energy destruction into running belligerently, and Spike just poked you out of the run-in. Hold on. Was that this round? Are you talking about this? Yeah. Yep. Ow. It can feel a little bit like, this is what I'm talking about when I say Vane doesn't really have the tools to, like, fully keep someone out the entire time. The game ended the last round, the beginning of this one, yeah, fair enough. That's a valid point too. I think if he spot dodges a couple energy destructions, it doesn't mean you have to get up on your zoning game plan at the very least, right? I mean, this is a good idea. Like, this is a decent adaptation here, right? Like, it's a more spaced out Wild Beat, right? Makes it a little bit more difficult for him to just like go in and immediately take his turn back. But still, I think maybe a few too many of these. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's good. A little bit more difference in what you're doing. You see what I mean? It feels like what you're doing in neutral really isn't amounting to too much because of like just how often your block strings end in wild beats. That's unfortunate. No ED anymore. Luminaire gonna. Oh, nice. Yeah. Because you last time you lost that exact interaction, right? Luminaire like teleports past the shield and gets you. Good for you to take the initiative there. Okay. What's the schmix? Empty jump throw, sure, I like it. A little bit of a change up. Even if he techs it, right? Just representing different options is gonna make it harder for him to stop your offense in general. This is a little bit interesting. Like this. You mentioned giving up space, right? Like, I don't think you need to be quite so... At this spacing, I don't think you need to be quite so scared of Vera, right? Like, yes, you can maybe, like, suddenly run in and jump scare you or something, but, like, this is a good spot for you, right? You don't have to, like, you're playing a little timid. I mean, and I get why, because, you know, it's one game to Sprite, right? He's one round up. If you get hits, he probably can't kill you from here in the mid-screen because he's not install Vera, but, like, I understand why you're being a little bit timid, but I think this is just, like... That was actually you got yourself. You got the good win in neutral here, right? You get the counter hits. You use your shield to protect you, right? Well, more so, you put the shield down and then you immediately call them out for trying to just go through the shield. So everyone's gonna do, right? So this is good, right? This is good. And you through this like smart decision there, right? You put yourself in a pretty good spot. You have Vera in the corner, right? You go for like an Oki option. Doesn't quite pan out, but you know you're still fine there, right? They're -6 right there. But then you kind of just like give up, right? Like you kind of just like not doing too much here. You spend the cooldown of energy destruction, and now Sprite's back in the mid screen, and now it's actually their turn, right? Like that. I don't think that's been happening. Maybe I've missed. Oh wait, actually, do you die to this? Huh? It's not. It's like almost not scaled at all. Are you dead to this? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so I'm not sure if that. I don't think I noticed that quite so much happening over the course of the sets. Right, though I think it's because you just oftentimes weren't in advantageous spots like this, because again, I think your mid-screen pressure was not really anything too scary, right? If you're gonna get up in his face, you have to take risks. You can't just do safe ender into wild beat all the time. But yeah, like this was not great, I don't think, right? Like you're not gonna like you've had trouble finding these advantageous spots. When you get one, I think you have to hold on to it a little bit more staunchly, I guess. And I get like your energy destruction cooldown is on cooldown. I get that, right? Like that's part of why you're probably not just like sitting there spamming it or something. But like I think you can still hold the space with your buttons, right? Like you were kind of doing it too. Or like this, yeah, like this. I like that. But like there's no need to walk back quite this far. I think, especially because you don't have energy destruction up. You can like just hold do that sort of middle distance. You're in the corner. I'm not in the corner, right? And I can adjust my spacing by walking back and forth, and you can only walk towards me, right? The sort of inherent reason that the corner is a bad place to be, as far as like higher risk for these interactions. I think you could have just like sat, like sort of where like with your back, maybe like your back or front foot, depending on like where the Paragon logo is here. You know what I mean? And just like kind of kept him there until you got your cooldown back, right? Is that more risky than this? Sure, yeah. I mean, you have to, because I mean, this is not risky until you give up the entire screen and you just fully like let him sprint at you from full screen here behind Luminaire, and he just kills you, right? Or at least he gets back into an advantageous spot. So this I think was not. I understand why there was some trepidation there, but I don't think that was the play right there. Otherwise, yes, I guess overall I think this is the two sort of more zoomed out overarching ideas here. I think there's lots of little things, right? Don't throw bait too hard before you've actually conditioned him to want to tech throw, right? Be like mash on those Luminaire setups more often. You got command grab with Luminaire following behind you, like, or following behind Vera there like twice, right? Things like there are little interactions there, right? Yeah, maybe not try not to get predictable in like your zoning game plan, like, you know, slam run, right? It happened twice and Sprite hits you, as Faffy pointed out right there. But the more so, the bigger picture stuff, I think, is you are being a little too safe in general, right? I think maybe I say this often, and maybe I'm like grasping at straws a little bit, but it feels a little bit like a lack of confidence, I think, And I get it, right? Like, you're fighting Sprite, and Sprite's very good, and maybe you're like, God damn, it's Sprite, and then you lose the first game, and you're like, fuck, this guy's so good. And then, like, you know, you lose the second round of the first game, and you're playing to not, you know, for the set, and you're like, fuck, he's so good. And, like, I can understand that you're like, you can possibly start to lose confidence that way. It is important to play everyone like you can beat them, and like you can lose to them, right? It's a very, maybe that's not what's happening in your brain, by the way, but I can't tell. I don't have you right here. But this is something that I know definitely does happen to other people, so I'm going to bring it up. It happens to me sometimes, too, when I fall into this trap. It's a very human thing. It's on either side of it. You have to play everyone as if you could beat everyone or also lose to everyone, right? You don't want to underestimate your opponents and start, like, doing stupid shit and, like, I'm so much better than this guy and then lose. That one feels even worse, losing to someone who you think is better than you, right? And even if someone is on paper just, like, way better results, way higher caliber of player, you have to play to win. You can't play to just, like, well, I survived for a little bit, right? And I think where that manifests is in two things. Again, and I'm just going to recap them quickly because I've been talking about them already a lot. The wild beat stuff, right? And you picking the safest option in your mid-screen pressure every single time, which inevitably ended up in you doing a little bit of chip damage and losing your turn, right? And as a result, you almost never got into an actual advantageous position on Sprite because you never put Sprite in a position to guess wrong and get hit, right? The only actual hits you got on the mid-screen that converted into big damage, I think, were like just, you know, timing things. Like the one you had a good call out on him trying to go through shield at the end there. That was good. Otherwise, it was just like timing. Right? Like he just so happened, you both like 6XL, but you were a little bit quicker on the draw, you get a counter hit or something. Also, Arete? Apologies if I'm saying your name wrong, but thanks for the raid, man. Much appreciated. What's going on, fellas? We're doing some replay review right now. We'll just talk about some Vane. It was a fun time. Yeah, gonna do a little bit more. I'm gonna spend like probably another hour-ish doing some replay review. No worries, everyone fails to the name. Arete. Arete? Arete. Okay. I was close. The AE, you know, I wasn't separating them. All right, thank you. Apologies for the mispronunciation. Thanks for the explanation, and thanks for the raid. Got back from my review. Much thanks for the advice. Got to learn how to throw bait. One thing I didn't want to mention, so he's getting a level 5 Midiscari. It's weird if he gets it on the initial activation, he can combo, but if he gets it on the slam, he can't combo? Oh, okay. No worries. Also stress the second A. Arete? Arete? Is that right? I feel like I'm in a linguistics class right now. Arete? Yes? Okay, Arete. Thank you for the raid, Arete. Much for that, and thank you for the step-by-step pronunciation guide too. I needed it. I fucked it up more than I thought at first glance there. But yeah. The safe enders into wild beats mean you almost never got into an actual advantageous position. I have to do it? No, I'm not. I wasn't saying that sarcastically. I'm saying genuinely, thank you for the step-by-step pronunciation guide because I actually did need it. I'm not being sarcastic whatsoever there. But yeah, so, and then even when you got into the advantageous spot, like the one time you gave it up because you were a little bit scared of, like, I suppose, you know, taking a risk. It is the closer you are to your opponent, the riskier it is. But when you have them in the corner, everyone is going to, like, any zoner is going to turn into an aggressive character if you have them in the corner and you have an advantage state, so you have a knockdown and all that, right? And you again, you had the right idea. You were holding space for a little bit there, just like swinging far M's and stuff, making them not want to just like run at you. They just kind of backed up way too far, right? Yeah, that's sort of the gist of it, I think. We'll do another Versusia replay review in a second here. No worries, took a bit to get peeps in EU to be on it, so I have a good idea how to teach it. Okay, fair enough. I feel you. I have a name that is not super hard for people who like only speak English to pronounce, but it is hard enough that they like. I don't think anyone has ever really got it unless they also speak Arabic. So I have like obviously not my brick is super easy, but like my actual like human name. So I kind of understand the idea of like trying to, you know, coach people through the actual like the phonetics of the word there. Usually though, I just, you know, I go by a simpler version. All right, Versusia replay review. Hello. People, hi. I am an S++2 Versusia, looking for things to improve on. Human name is a funny way. Yeah, my human name, not my internet name, my human name. Looking for things to improve on to push through the master barrier. Just recently participated in a TNS bracket, had a few matches that I think were worth looking at. Both of them are against insanely strong players on their main characters, and while I won one of them, the one I lost, I felt extremely lost in the matches. Oh, it's Laquai. Oh, hello, Laquai. Laquai has since gotten to master? I actually forget. It's only been, again, the backlogs are not quite as big anymore, but yeah. I feel that because Lithuanian names have that as well, yeah. Is my chat working today? I think so, B. I see what you're saying there. I got you. Okay, so Laquai, the first match is against a Nier, and ever since her rework, been a bit clueless on how to fight her. I was the same before, to be honest. Fair. The match, I made a ton of mechanical mistakes, like dropping anti-air combos, missing confirms, misinputting a Brave counter, which cost me a round. However, during the match, I just had a sense of not knowing what was going on in the matchup side of things. I've noticed I was not aggressive when Death's stock was out, but outside of that, I'm not quite sure what to look for to improve. Any advice would be appreciated. The second match, I was against an Narmaya, and this one I felt a lot more confident about. I feel like I know the matchup quite well from both sides, and was proud of some of the things that I did that helped me win the set. Although, after reviewing it, I probably won out of luck / Narmaya misplaying. What I'm looking for in this match is just general advice or things to focus on improving. Thanks for advice. Okay, so for the Narm set, he's looking for like more fundamental stuff. For the Nier set, he's looking on how to fight against Nier. I'll give him, you know, we always focus on like general fundamentals anyway, right? But we will see. Oh, it's Inochi and Dragalia. Yeah. Cool Beans was broken yesterday for whatever reason. It's odd. I'm glad it works today though. That's certainly nice. Yeah, two very strong players, right? Inochi and Dragalia. Inochi, very, very good Nier, and one of the only people still rocking Nier, I think. I don't, you know, I don't want to be spreading misinformation. I think so, Elsa was playing Catalina last time. Okay, no, that's not fair. That's not fair. I watched Astral Finish, which was the most recent like big tournament that I watched, and Elsa played. I believe they played Nier in like some sets that I watched, and they played Catalina in other sets. So I'm not gonna go out here telling you that Elsa dropped Nier, but to my understanding, I think I have not seen Inochi play anyone but Nier the entire time I've seen her like do any sort of competitive stuff, right? Not seriously, anyway. Also, using Catalina, yes, they still have a Nier, but Catalina's a just in case. I mean, yeah, but it's like, it's funny to say this about Nier, but it becomes like I just play Catalina for bad matchups, and you're like, well, there's a lot of bad matchups for this character now, right? So, I wonder how often. I wonder how often they end up playing Catalina. But again, I mean, obviously Elsa, super committed Nier, super great Nier. I don't mean to take anything away from them at all. I'm just saying, Inochi is, I don't think I've ever seen her actually play anyone but Nier in like a serious competitive setting, right? Okay, so Versusia and Nier. So let's talk about this real quick. Nier is just a weird character. Nier was a weirdo character back when she was clearly top 1. Nier is kind of still a weirdo character. They're just like even a little bit more wonky now, right? Dragalia is something, seems to be an instinct-based player. Dragalia is, yeah, he's certainly, he's also very strong, obviously, on Narmaya. I didn't talk about him too much, but we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, so Nier's whole thing, right, is Nier is sort of, you know, used to be a lot more true, maybe not quite as much anymore, but Nier is sort of this, like, the queen of mid-range, right, where most characters, you know, it's always like, oh, do you want to, like, stay up close or far away? Nier wants to stay at that sort of middle distance, right, find a nice little poke into death combos. She still does, like, on average, some of the highest mid-screen damage in the entire game, right, like, that is still something that she's got, for sure. That is kind of the only thing that she's got at this point. To the point that as Versusia, you probably want to, again, you want to be not in the middle here. You want to commit to a spacing on the screen, because Nier probably does outfight you in that sort of middle distance. Yeah, you have good buttons. You probably can fight her in that middle distance a little bit better than some, but you know, Ominous Turn, like 214H, where she just like throws the death at you and stuff like that. Like, these are all still like, she has better mid-screen tools than you do. However, she can't really do too much if you're too far away from her, and oh boy, is her defense really something to laugh about now. She still has decent normals to hit, I guess, but a lot of her best normals, a lot of the normals she normally would poke out of Abare with, like 2M and 2U and stuff, all got nerfed. So, my point being that I think you want to hold some sort of really close or really far distance from Nier in this matchup. I think being, like, in this sort of middle distance is not usually going to pan out well for you. That is interesting. Your 5L being bigger than her far L worked out for you pretty well there. Okay. You could have converted off that, I think. Versusia can, like, spot dodge, debate the BC, and still have time to convert. I think he just messed it up, but it's fine. What happened here? You just got clipped by Far H. I mean, this button still works, right? Far H is definitely still a nice little, yeah. Like, that is the only, like, god button Nier has that hasn't been touched. It's usually too slow to, like for it to actually just use as, like, an Abare button, but, like, if you're just standing there trying to space, like, this is another good example of what I was talking about, right? Versusia might do this to a lot of characters, where, like, your corner pressure is, like, I'm just gonna stand here, I'm gonna use my, like, there's the nerfs, by the way. I'm pretty sure, like, Inochi, I'm pretty sure this, that's her, 2M, I believe, right? I'm pretty sure this 2M hits you before the nerfs, right? Like, that's kind of close, right? Like, I think that hits you before Nier gets, that would have hit before? Yeah. But yeah, so, the problem is, though, with Nier in general, you might be like, oh, I'm in the corner, I'm gonna space you out, I'm Versusia, I have big buttons, I'm gonna stand over here and space you out, and once I find the hit, I'll convert. This is kind of a microcosm of what I was talking about before, where, like, I don't think you want to stand at a middle distance with Nier. Either go very far away, or go right up close, right? Because Nier does still have good buttons to hit, including that one. Like this is a slow-ish button. For how big it is, it's not very slow at all. This is still like a god button, right? Far H is entirely unchanged from pre-patch Nier, as far as I'm aware, right? And her 2M and 2U are still good, not amazing like they were, but they're still okay, right? So I think you really want to get right up in Nier's face if you want to pressure, and just like use infinite plus frames on Versusia to bully a lady who like doesn't have a meterless DP and has 15,000 health, and you know, all that good stuff. Okay. Good. There is, I was gonna say, a mash. Whenever you see the DP like that, that is a, if you block, it's a frame trap, right? You're DPing there, but if you block it, you can kill death. I guess I will say, one thing real quick. Any matchup with Nier flips on its head entirely once she loses death, because obviously Deathless Nier is bottom 1, 7 tiers underneath whoever you think is currently bottom 1, right? Like, Deathless Nier is just not a character, right? So, once she doesn't have death, you have to, like, go. That is your, no matter who you are, that is your opportunity to go in there and kill Nier, basically, right? Like, almost no character is going to see Deathless Nier and be like, I should zone right now. Maybe, I don't even, like, I was gonna say maybe Fairy, I'm not even sure that's true, right? Okay. Okay, you have the right idea. You can do this now, right? So they changed a lot of Nier's U skills in a weird way, where I believe she can cancel out of them, right? Like you see right there, cancel the 2-3-6U and the 2-2M right there. But they also lose their, Death used to be invulnerable the whole time. Death now loses its invuln. Her invuln? I don't know, Primal Beast pronouns on the mind today. But Death now loses, I'll say her, it's, you know, female presenting at least. Loses her invuln at the end of the U skills. So you have the right idea with this. You can Brave counter out of the U skills like this and just like send Nier to hell. Just too early though, right? Like 2-3-6U is a very long animation. Probably more so around when Death is crossing her arms like this, right? Well, it's probably a good time for it. Nier, like it's a heavy cost to pay in a Brave points, but it does just, it gets rid of death, right? You spend the Brave points to like essentially just make Nier not a character for a bit. But you know about that, I think it seems. You're a little bit too early, is all. Okay. How'd you get hit here exactly? Ah, yeah, just got stuck out a button and got jumped over. Unfortunate. Okay. Oh. Yeah, your 5L being, oh yeah, that was another, I think you should have mashed again there, right? Like anytime you block this DP, I mean they can cancel out of it, but there's a big enough gap here for you to 2L. For like, I mean, look at how long, like, look, yeah. You definitely can 2L that. Anytime you block the DP on death, you usually want to mash and get them out of there. By the way, Niers are going to down back like a motherfucker. In my current thesis, I haven't fought enough post-patch Nier to test this, but my current thesis from the Niers that I have fought and how they played when they didn't have death, like Niers are gonna down back like a bitch, like not like they're bitches. I mean, like, you know, like that hurts like a bitch sort of thing. When they're not in when they don't have death. So throws and throw baits, right? Like a Nier is very rarely, I think, going to actually try and mash and challenge on your pressure because the risk reward for her is so bad. So stuff like stagger pressure or frame traps are kind of like, eh. I think your pressure against Deathless Nier should basically be almost entirely throw and throw baits, right? And most Niers kind of treat it a little bit like the good Niers, from what I understand, kind of treat it a little bit like, you know, it's like Rashid level 2 in Street Fighter 2. Like, it's like, I'll just take a couple throws and then Death will be back. Even still, I mean, that's like, you know, if they are committed to that, then that's, you know, that's a good little 4K damage they hit them with, right? It's not bad. 5K actually. I throws 2.5. Okay, how'd you get hit here? But yeah, it is uncommon in my experience that Nier is gonna want. I just got framed. Okay, yeah, it's uncommon. Nier's gonna want to mash on your pressure. Yeah, super jump a little bit. No death, run down back from what I've seen from Niers. Yeah. So again, yeah, so they're not gonna mash on you. So frame trapping and stuff isn't really worthwhile. Like it's all throw and throw bait pressure. Is the layer 1 there anyway, right? This super jump is kind of like just misspaced, right? Like this is, you can super jump over people a lot of the time, but Inochi is standing far enough back here, right? Especially with the pushback from far H. Like this is, you are super jumping right into their loving arms, and you're like on the perfect angle for a 2H. If she was like here, right? Then sure. Maybe even here, but like the far H pushback you have to account for, right? So you jump kind of right into their loving arms, and you died for it. Yep. That's not even like a Nier specific thing. That's in general, right? You gotta watch out for like super jump. The problem with super jump is that it's like turbo reactable. Like adding like an extra 5 to 6 frames to the jump arc when you're talking about are you gonna react to it or not is a big deal, right? It might not sound like a lot, but for like 5 to 6 extra frames, which is the difference between most people's super jumps and non-super jumps, right? It's a big deal. What can Nier actually do without death? Is RS, RC still an option? She can BC, yeah. She can't Raging Strike, no. Death can only Raging Strike when, or sorry, Nier can only Raging Strike when Death is neither summoned nor recovering, right? So basically, Death has to be available but not summoned. That's when Nier can Raging Strike. BC she can always do. Thank God. Oh, could you imagine if they made it so Nier couldn't Brave counter or something like that? Well, no, oof. I think in general too, but I'm not entirely sure if I've been keeping up with this enough. Don't be afraid to BC on death pressure too, right? It's even better against Nier than it is against BC's already broken, but against Nier it also, you know, it kills death. If death is at all doing anything. Death has to be in her pocket to RS? Yeah, that's a good way of saying it, Con. Exactly. But yeah, so, don't be afraid to BC on death pressure, right? Yeah. Usually you wanna mash after the DP, right? This move, the only this is death reversed, right? The only clause there. The only one of these that's actually like plus is 2-2M and 2-2U, but that's if they're done raw. Out of a cancel like this, I believe Nier, yeah, like if you try to mash, you will die right there. You could hold it, you could then brave counter or something, right? Yeah, like this, see, like this pressure is just not good against Deathless Nier, I think. Like, because think about what is the goal of this, right? Like, what are you doing exactly? Right? Like why are you trying to zone Nier out? And then here, like, what, like, you know, plus frames into frame trap? Like, Nier's not going to match on you. She's terrified, right? She's trying to survive. So, like, all she's going to do is block, then you got to do the thing that beats blocking. And then if they don't want to get thrown, they do the thing that beats trying to throw bait or throw tech, right? I think one of the big things in fighting post-patch Nier is going to be exploiting, like, Deathless Nier, because she's in that state so much more often than she ever was before, right? You got frame trapped again here, huh? How so? Oh, you tried to brave counter, never mind. No, you tried to brave counter, yeah. You tried to brave counter the light, but you're just a little bit too late. Happens to me too. Probably not, in general, the answer there is probably, like, don't brave counter on lights that often, right? Most lights are also, like, they can cancel them into, like, a spot dodge or something like that, so. Obviously, 6XL being the big exception, but it also works. Like, it's not like a problem. It's just, in that case, you were too slow. The lights will be the hardest to react to in time, though. They don't have that much block stun on them, either. Alright, overhead. Trying to jump out of the corner a lot, for sure. Ah. See, again, you could have Brave Counter right there. I think it's the one time that you messed it up, kind of lost your confidence. But I think it's, I mean, maybe you're on like too few Brave points there, but I think that's a pretty primo time to BC right there. You probably, I mean, maybe she blocks it. Even still, you're +6 at that point against Deathless Nier. Maybe you back throw her into the corner, and then good things happen to you, right? DP works too, certainly. Obviously, it's just a little bit riskier. Oh. You mash on the plus frames here from 6XL? Is that what happens? Yeah, I mean, it is Deathless Nier, so, like, I mean, that's all you take. But the problem is it's time, right? You lose time, and now Death's back. Yeah, I think a big thing right now is this Brave countering, like, where to place your Brave counters against Nier. Doesn't seem like it's super clean, right? I think you're not, like, it's not like you said you were totally clueless in the matchup. It doesn't look quite like that, I don't think, right? I think it's just you need to know where the mash spots are on Nier's pressure, right? And usually, as like a level 1 idea, it's whenever you block that DP, right? Like, that's not a bad place, at least. Well, that you can, okay, so there's two sort of, there's, I don't know if, like, the basic Nier offense RPS has changed since they nerfed her, if, like, what the Niers want to do is different, but it used to be, at least, and I don't see why it will be different. It's just a little bit worse now. That basically Nier throws death at you, right? And then the death will either go stabby, like the slicey, right? Or death will go DP. You can mash slicey, right? The 2-3-6 has a big startup. You can mash there, and like immediately after the ominous turn, after they throw death at you, you can mash and kill death, or you can mash after you block the DP, right? The reason they do the DP is because it's a frame trap. If you mash expecting slicey, right? DP has a smaller gap there, you will die. And the gap is, and I don't believe you can fuzzy mash it either. The gap is a little bit too small there, right? I mean, maybe you can, but like it's a frame or two difference, I think, if I remember correctly. It's just one of them is enough that you can mash like a 5 or 6 frame button, and one of them isn't. So you can, as a guess, you can mash whenever they throw death at you. and risk getting frame trapped, or just, whenever you block the DP, that is certainly it. Besides those two, there are not super safe places that are like always, always mash on Nier pressure here. But you can also supplement that with Brave Counter. I think Brave Countering to kill death is something you need to do more often. Just because, again, Nier went from the character who deals with Brave Counter the best in the whole game to probably one of the characters that is the most, like, BTFO'd by Brave Counter. Because usually Brave Counter will knock Nier away, get you pressure, and it'll kill death, and she'll be on Deathless Nier now. And depending on exactly how much death stock she was spending there, when she was running her pressure, she might be Deathless for a little bit, right? What? Transient is such a funny move, man. Okay, Narmaya is a weird one, right? Narmaya can kind of Setsuna, and like they gave Narmaya a lot better of a thing to do from like long distance in the Versusia patch, right? So it's gonna be a little bit difficult for you to just like stay incredibly far, like to stay incredibly far away in this zone all the time. Though Setsuna is not literally full screen, so like it's an option, right? Also, Narayu, thanks for the follow, man. But yeah, as far as like where you want to be on the screen in this matchup, it's a little weird. I think you probably do still, like, overall you do still have the advantage at long range, right? But Narm is a little bit more well-rounded than she used to be. I think it's going to more so come down to the player you're fighting. Like if they're really rushing you down, maybe you play the more defensive angle. If they're playing really defensive, you play the more offensive angle, right? You're not a pure zoner. Narm is not even close to a pure zoner, but still, like, Narm is just a little bit more well-rounded than she used to be. She still doesn't have, like, a really good anti-zoning option, right? Well, you flip, yes, but I mean, you flip and you transients both have their inherent risks, right? So, like, there is certainly a window here to just, like, stand on the other side of the screen and try to just, like, throw Anityas and shit at Narm, but I think playing, like, this slightly more, like, back and forthy, aggressive mid-range game is a good idea. That's another thing, too. We talked about mid-range with Nier, right? We're, like, fighting Nier in the mid-range is kind of tough. If you're, like, close enough that you can threaten with your big mediums, Narm can't really just do, like, spam Setsuna safely over and over. But at the same time, you, like, besides that, stays right in her face or farther than mid-range, kill death on DP, utilize BC on death pressure. Yep, that's right. And when she has Deathless Nier, do a lot more. I think your pressure against Deathless Nier, Laquai, was had a bit of the wrong idea, right? Nier is just gonna down back whenever she doesn't have death because she's scared, and like mashing is so low reward for her in the first place and very high risk. So you have to do just more throw bait pressure on Deathless Nier, where you were doing like your average plus frames into button into plus frames into whatever. Like it's frame trapping and like stagger pressure. Nier's not gonna mash on you when she doesn't have death, right? So throw and throw bait. She's gonna block, beat the thing that does blocking, and beat the thing that beats the thing that beats blocking, right? Round start range, Narmaya just wins the moment the round starts. I suggest throwing out Orb, shut down Setsuna, and Transient over to lose 667. Yeah. My ass was scared of her still? Yeah. I mean, you have to realize Deathless Nier is bottom one by a mile, by a country mile. If Deathless Nier was just like a character, they just can't do. They have no specials. They can't Raging Strike. They can't do anything, right? Okay, so yeah, the other thing too, I think, is at that sort of further mid range, you have the advantage here too. So that could be a potential place to hold in this matchup, right? Because you like Narm still does not have like amazingly large buttons or anything. Like, she doesn't have anything that's going to compete with Versusia 2M or Far M, right? So you can certainly try and hold that distance as well. Ow. Oh, God. Okay. You definitely want to be blocking low by default there. Narm does not really have, like, a super spooky overhead or anything like that, right? We YOLO 668, shit happens. Yeah, so I mean, flips, man. Flip is it's, there is, so, ow. Essentially, unfortunately, flip is a reaction check, right? You can interrupt pretty much all flips, right? You just have to, because they're all like 30 frames or something. I mean, that one's like, yeah, that's probably like 32 or something like that where it hit you, right? It's real nice if you just have like some sort of big, like all around body invincible hitbox, like a really good DP or something that you could use. Because otherwise, that makes the reaction check a lot easier, right? Like if it's like 32 frames, and you have a frame 1 invincible move, then you have to react in 31 frames. But with a 2H and Versusia 2H, which is 13 frames, right? Suddenly those checks get a little bit harder, right? You can honestly stand up and like 5L Narmaya flip. It will hit you earlier if you're standing, but like that also shaves a lot of time off the actual like the move you're using, right? The problem, of course, sometimes it crosses you up and things like that, but you can wait and then challenge, right? And the cross up, if they do cross you up with it, it makes it take even longer to hit you. Like, you can always challenge the flips, pretty much, but yeah, you have to react, and it's not exactly the world's easiest reaction check. It tends to be assuming you're not like doing a frame 1 invincible move, it's usually like anywhere between like a 21 to 27 frame reaction check in like the best case. But I mean, you kind of have to do it because if Narm can just get away with flip over and over, then you're just gonna die, right? And it gives her very high reward too, so it's very worth just doing it over and over. Yeah, you can't brave the cross up ones. You can't brave counter either. Probably for Versusia, your best option is to try and stand on reaction and 5L, right? I mean, that'll be 8 frames. 1 frame to get up, 1 frame to 5. I mean, you can probably buffer it too, so you might actually be able to 5L as soon as you get up, but having a very slow 2H is not great here. You'd ideally want to have a 2H that hits on both sides of you too in case the flip crosses up. Like a nice, like, you don't want one of those 2Hs that hits really high above you here. You want like one of those just like a box around your shoulders, right? Advantage unless she has 50% in Genji as you Setsuna kills all of Versusia's options. Well, I mean, not from the mid-range, right? Is that universal? It's because Versusia's so tall the BC whiffs? And it got crossed up, right? Yeah. It's not a height thing. She just like when you hit BC, she was in front of you, but by the time the BC comes out, she's on the other side, right? So that I believe, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that should happen. That can happen to anyone depending on the spacing of it, right? If anything, you'd think Versusia will probably get crossed up less often because her collision box should be taller, but yeah, I mean, that's the second time it's happened here. I mean, this is just, yeah. That is ambiguous, right? That is ambiguous for sure. That happens a lot to me. Yeah, I mean, when in doubt, probably just like don't BC flip, right? Unless like it's very obviously hitting same side. That is so disorienting. What the fuck? Yeah. Like that's pretty ambiguous. BC timing might have been off, might have been a little bit delayed, possibly as well. Yeah, who knows? But unless you're like basically like unless you're certain she's gonna land same side, maybe just like block it, right? At the end of the day, in those mid-screen situations too, like if she's already used H flip, her pressure is not that scary anymore, right? Like Narm really only gets really high reward in the mid-screen off of flips, right? So if you just blocked H flip in the mid-screen there, right? Like see, like yeah, what's she gonna do? Like the scariest, the scary Narm mid-screen comes from flip. So if she's spent H flip, then you're fine. I mean, that's a counter hit, close H right there, right? Nice set, yeah. Setsuna has extended recovery on whiff. Jumping over Setsuna if you have the balls, if you have the read, if you have the reactions, possibly if it's M Setsuna, is always a good idea. It's like a 50 frame move if you jump over it. So it is super easy for any character to jump and punish. Even super jump and punish sometimes if she's further away, depending on exactly what character you are and what your jump arc is looking like on that super jump. And whether it's L or M Setsuna, I guess, but... Okay. Wake up DP is bold, but sure. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Good 2H from Dragalia there. Interesting points to remember is that this is, it doesn't matter that often. This is -2, right? I'm not entirely sure how fast does her shit start up here? This you thingy. You boy? You Kyoka Suigetsu? Yokoso? Watashi no Soul Society. It's 30. Yeah, I mean yes, there's U skill slowdown on this. I wonder, could you have just like Versusia far M reaches from here, right? Like if you just hit far M, do you just like win this? Even with the U skill slowdown? Because she's -2, so it's 16 frames compared to your far M's 9, basically. And I'm pretty sure that your your button is big enough that I'm pretty sure you win that, right? I might be wrong, but I guess the general idea here is if you block EX Setsuna, and it's probably your turn, right? Like you kind of stutter step a little bit here, and then what happens? You stutter. Well, like what exactly are your inputs looking like here? Like you block the Setsuna. Oh, no, you try to 2-on right away. Never mind. I'm wrong. The U skill slowdown a bit nasty there. Never mind. This is a little bit of this is a bit of a trap. I was unaware. Because you try to 2-on like pretty much. Oh, okay, well no, never mind. Not right away actually. I thought you did it like real fast. No, there's a gap here. You can like as soon as you react to this, you can throw out a button, right? Yeah, like you do wait for a second. Yeah.
Comma, nerd.
I think you could have beaten that if you mashed right away. Also, Grim Creeper. Thanks for the follow, man. Hope you're enjoying the stream and all that. Monster Hunter OST, ho. It's nice, no? Some Poke Village. Yeah, EX Setsuna used to be plus on block. Not anymore, right? So just keep that in mind. Most of the time, if you block EX Setsuna, especially with a character with this big of normals, and like your 2M is 8 frames too, I'm pretty sure you can probably challenge. Even like that Kyoka Suigetsu right there, the Yokoso, that probably is the best thing she's got there, and even that, I think you may have been able to beat, right? Like, that's probably the best trap Narm has there if you try to mash on her. Good guard button. Okay. This, by the way, is an interesting spot here. I mean, we're talking high enough level. This is an interesting one. You, with the slowdown, treated the 2M as a move with 2 times the startup. I wish I knew the exact intricacies of how the U-skill slowdown affected things. Because I'll be honest, Ophidian, I don't know the answer to your question. Maybe? I don't know exactly how much the slowdown affects moves that aren't the U-skill, how much it affects the U-skill. I don't think it affects the U-skill at all, but like, I don't unfortunately know the exact intricacies. Like, if that's the case, then it's 16 frames and 16 frames. In that case, it depends on whose attack level is higher, right? And I don't know what the attack level on Yokoso. I don't know what the attack level on that is, but yeah, in this case, you have a Brave point advantage here, right? They have 1 to your 2 if you Brave counter this back. You could have tried to initiate a Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising here. You could have tried to Brave counter the Brave counter of the Brave counter and the Brave counter, and it's kind of like, it's like Vanish Wars and Sparking Zero. Like, if Dragalia wants to commit to that, he's going to lose, right? You're going to have more Brave points than he does, and you'll get pressure with him on 0 Brave points. Pretty sure this is a 15-frame screen freeze? No, it's not a screen freeze, for sure. People, like, your character still moves. It's a slowdown. I just don't know how much of a slowdown it is, right? I don't believe it's a full screen. I mean, we can even see it here, right? I mean, we can go back and look. Versusia is still moving once you get to the Kyokatsu he gets to right here, right? Like, see? Like, he's still moving. So, like, it's a slowdown, but I'm not entirely sure how much. Actually, is this a crush? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there's our answer. Your 2M actually just got crushed. Yeah, you can see it between her legs there if you want to be weird about it. But yeah, you got crushed. Your 2M actually did come out, but the U actually okay, so I see. So this is a trap. She can't do this without Yu Kyoka. Probably she has to spend 50 meter on this trap. Good to know. That I just learned something there too. But yeah. In general, what you did there is correct. Probably, but I do wonder if you could have matched earlier, right? Because I like, if they intersect, you get crushed. I do wonder if you could have matched earlier and counter hit him. I'm not sure. I think maybe it's possible. This is where, like, Mr. Takeover from Street Fighter 6 would be very useful. Because there was a delay in your mash from that set center there. You did wait, like, you know, a few frames, which may have been all the difference. Okay. Get back throw. Yokoso. Yeah, car button check. We saw this. Hit with low. Super jump there. Lets her recover in time, but even still, you still get plus frames, so it's good. I still think you could have started up a Brave counter war there, but it's fine. Oh, okay, good check, sure. Solid check. Nice. Oh, yeah, didn't have the didn't have the lariat cooldown, I guess. I think you could have gotten a little bit more off of that though. And then here, yeah, I mean here you tried to 5L it, huh? Does that not work for? I guess because yeah, it was off of an auto combo, yeah, so the timing was off. I think here, actually, funny enough, you probably want to wait and then 5L, but yeah, off the auto combo like that, and the timing might just not be too favorable for you. If you wait, you might be too late and get hit. Flip can be tricky, right? Again, especially if you don't have a good 2H or DP to anti-air it with. Out. Plus, versus just 5L is slow too, right? Like, you're 2 frames slower than the ideal 5L for the situation. Oh, he messed it up. I'm curious. You gotta kill him for this, right? Like, yeah. He's dead, right? This is 3,000 damage? No, actually, it's 3120, right? Because it's one of the 6280 ones, or 6240 ones. She's dead for sure, yeah. I think their close M is better anyways. What's the speed on Versusia close M? I need to know more of her shit off the top of my head. Ow. Okay. Interesting spot dodge. 8 frames? I mean, yeah, at that point, maybe, honestly. If the hitbox is, like, notably bigger or something like that. The 1 frame difference might not matter too much that often. Okay, like the 2L. Caught him mashing. Only 1 frame slower, but more vertical hitbox? Yeah, probably, maybe could have caught her before she crossed up. Hard to say. In most cases, then, if it has a bigger vertical hitbox, though, yeah, close M is probably your guy for beating flip. Just to make sure to minimize the weird interactions. Say be careful, spot dodging M sets and as Narm can kill you off timing if it's even a bit off. It does crumple on counter hit, yes. And she can charge it to, like, you know, to fuck with you. It's risky for sure. I'm more of a jumper myself, but it can work. Oh god. Sure, okay. Yeah, you won this, true. Yeah. I mean, I know you mentioned more general stuff, but I think actually a lot of the problems you had in this set were actually like anti-Narmaya stuff, right? Mostly dealing with flip. I mean, fighting Narmaya these days is a lot of it is dealing with flip, right? And I think it's just it's a matter of knowing what to mash at what timing and when, right? I don't think you were that off on it, right? I think it's just you're gonna have to figure out which of your character's tools works the best. Close M sounds reasonable for sure. I mean, if you're quick enough, like you can 2H, right? Like what are the exact startups on? I believe Versusia 2H is quite big as a trade-off for it being so Crescent Moon. Yeah, I mean the H1. I mean the H1 is 32 frames, right? It's a quick. You have to react pretty fast. Yeah, I don't know. That's 19, right? It's like even, you know, best case scenario, you're talking 19. So like maybe not. Having it's a big difference having an 11 frame 2H there versus having a 13 frame 2H. A 21 frame reaction is difficult but doable. A 19 frame reaction is doable, but like like that's getting real hard to, you know, in the heat of the moment. You can probably if you see M flip, you can probably 2H that, right? That's even for Versusia, that's a 25 frame reaction check there. So like you can do that for sure. That one also will be plus on block if it crosses you up, I believe. But yeah. So I've done before, but I can count the times on one hand. Yeah, I mean, on the H flip, you're probably better off trying to mash like close M or close L or something. I'd be careful of flipping too frequently playing Narmaya. I mean, assuming some people just don't know what to do about it, right? I have been that person before. I got knowledge checked to hell and back by Besu in a bracket set once. But yeah, if you're fighting someone who you suspect is a knower, being too predictable can get you killed for sure. Because flip is a reaction check, right? Like, and you can fully like combo her for it, right? Like full on anti-air combo or like, you know, auto combo air starter, right? You can do like a nice, most characters can do like a nice at least 3 to 4K for an arm for pressing flip. Some even way more than that. I'm saying like almost everyone should be able to do at least 3 to 4K on Narm for pressing flip. But you just have to know the different variations and the timing differences and what, you know, what your options are against them, right? Yeah, it's a tough move, but I got caught so often trying to 2H H flip on Narmaya. I mean, yeah, so say you have like a standard 11 frame 2H, right? What's going on, Icebound? If you have a standard 11 frame 2H, you have 21 frames. That's not like an undoable reaction check, but like people get hit by Voss cheeks all the time, and that's basically a 22 frame reaction check, right? 21 frame, I guess. So it's the same thing. It's the equivalent difficulty of blocking Voss Raga's overhead is the difficulty of 2Hing flip as most characters. You can also jump back and snatch her out of the air. As counterplay can be sort of hard sometimes. Yeah, for sure. And your character probably has like some specific anti-air thing they can do a little bit better or whatever, right? But you have to be very conscious of that move the entire time you're fighting Narmaya, and especially the entire time you're fighting Dragalia, right? That brother loves his flip, and I don't blame him. It makes perfect sense why he does, but he loves his flip. I think block is a safe counterplay. Sure, yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier too, where like, you know, if Narm is, especially on H flip, which is the most, like H flip is the most threatening one, obviously, because it's plus on block, and it's also relatively quick, unlike M flip. Light's pretty much always minus. I think if light in some weird like bizarro world can cross up or something, I think you can do something, but it like almost never crosses up and it's minus. So like if you block light, it's your turn. Medium is really slow, so medium you can actually anti-air like very consistently if you know what it looks like. But H is the scary one. On the bright side though, when she spends H flip, she can't flip anymore. So her the scariest light can be +2. Is it on cross up? L flip never crosses up. Oh, okay. Wait, is it? Sorry. Yeah, fix my misinformation for me. When is light plus then? Is it if you block it crouching? They're more positive, right? Because she gets later into the active frames. Is that what it is? I'm still like flip. I'm getting familiar with. There's still some nuances that I have yet to commit to memory. I think if you're crouching, they tend to be more plus, right? L flip can be plus if spaced. Ooh, okay, gotcha. Light is plus if spaced correctly if Narm gets you closer to the end of the hitbox. Does crouching affect the plus frames? I just want to make sure I'm not saying anything that's also don't use the block button so cross-ups are hard. Use the block button against Narm, for sure. Narm has a lot of the left-right nonsense, right? I'll definitely say use the block button. I'd recommend. Anyway, crouching also can affect plus frames. Yes, gotcha. But the point I was trying to make is that H is still like it's always plus and it's faster than M flip and stuff like that. So, but once she spends that, she can't, she can't do any flips anymore for a little bit, right? So blocking it is like a safer option compared to the other ones for sure. Anyway, that was a little bit longer, but it's fine. We'll figure it out for the next two here. But that's gonna do it for the first replay review video. Yeah, we'll do this Belial Jita one and then the Catalina afterwards. But for now, VOD watchers, hello, hi, how's it going? Hope you had a good time with the video. If you did, any kind of likes, subscribes, comments, bells, all that good stuff helps out a lot. You know how it be. I also do stream every day from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern, except for Fridays, so come by and hang out. I also have a Discord. Great place to, you're looking at right now if you want to post replays, or if you just want to get some matches, make some friends, I'd encourage you to join. But if you do, be nice, or I'll shoot you in the head in Minecraft. No problem, McQuad. Interesting replay reviews for sure. Yeah, most importantly, I hope you had a great time hanging out today, as always. I know I sure did. We're going to do more replay review on stream here, but for now, VOD watchers, I will see you in the next one. Peace.